Netflix's time travel slasher, Time Cut, can get confusing pretty quickly, especially considering some of its character deaths happen not once, but twice. Set in the fictional town of Sweetly, the movie centers around the Sweetly slasher, who killed 4 teenagers back in 2003, including the sweet and popular Summer, Antonia Gentry. Lucy, Madison Bailey, a teen from 2024 and Summer's younger sister, sets out to stop them before they happen. Time Cut's main character quickly encounters a series of paradoxes that overcome her knowledge and threaten the limits of her existence. While the ending of Time Cut offers some clarity as to what happened and when, many things that are initially established as canon end up changing or never occurring. School Spirits director, Hannah McPherson, crafts a gripping and tension-packed murder puzzle whose fragmented and shifting nature ensures no set course of events. Time Cut's 3 timelines bleed into each other, demonstrating that the littlest change can break or remake the truth. All the while, the Sweetly slasher is determined to write his own version, where no survivors get second chances. 8. Brian. Second timeline. Brian is part of Summer's friend group, which includes Ethan, Emmy, Val, Brian, and Summer. They are the popular teens at Sweetly High School and, except for Ethan, are targeted by the Sweetly slasher in Time Cut's second timeline. He killed Brian on April 16, when he was shopping at the mall with Val for the spring fling. Brian marked the killer's first murder, with his girlfriend being the second. Old Quinn killed him because he and Ethan threw him into the river in the first timeline, making their whole class laugh at young Quinn's desperate attempts not to drown. Although Brian seems like a nice friend to Summer, he was presented as Quinn's main bully and the one who incited the river prank, telling Ethan to take out his frustration on that nerd Quinn when Summer avoided talking to him. Not much is revealed about why the Sweetly slasher targeted Val. Although she is a part of Summer's friend group, Val is not the only one at school who laughs when Ethan and Brian attempt to throw Quinn into the river, making it strange that he would want to kill her specifically. The likeliest reason for her murder is that she is Brian's girlfriend, and Quinn's blind rage made him target the whole friend group, thinking them all responsible for condoning the bullying. Val's murder as it happened in the second timeline isn't shown on screen but only alluded to. The final timeline provided an idea of what the original murder looked like before Lucy changed it. After trying on some clothes at Wetslide, Val stepped out of the dressing room to find Brian dead on the floor. She hid from the Sweetly slasher, but he eventually cornered her on a shelf, where he presumably killed her with a knife. Emmy. Second timeline. Emmy was killed on April 17 when she was working at the Sweetly Marine Museum. Her original death scene isn't shown, but the final timeline sets it up. The Sweetly slasher creeped up on her while she was wearing headphones and cleaning the boat. When Summer warned her and Emmy tried to flee, she struggles with the door, suggesting the killer cornered and stabbed her there. In the final timeline, Summer opens the door from outside, saving Emmy with the help of Lucy and Quinn. Old Quinn's motives for killing Emmy aren't explicitly revealed. However, she was part of Summer's friend group and had laughed at the river prank, though, admittedly, she called it a stupid senior tradition. It is more likely that, in hindsight, old Quinn realized Emmy and Summer were lovers, considering young Quinn does notice the pair's intimate relationship. Even if it is not confirmed that Summer ever came out in the first timeline, it is possible, since Emmy did so pretty young. Summer. Second timeline. After killing Brian, Val, and Emmy, the Sweetly slasher killed Summer on April 18 at the spring fling party at the Hayshed. He attacked her when she was putting lipstick in the bathroom, and then chased her through some abandoned sheds as she struggled to find a way back to the party. He used a scythe to stab her in the back while she tried to end the final timeline. Summer tries to recreate her murder to ensure Lucy is born. However, her sister and Quinn ran over the attacker, revealing it is older Quinn from the first timeline, who was actually thrown in the river when young. Afterward, he explained that he wanted to kill Summer because she laughed as he screamed for help in the water and because she told him she could never love him. 4. Brian. Final timeline. Brian's was the only death that didn't change in the final timeline, as Lucy failed to arrive on time to prevent his murder. Even if she did stop him from throwing Quinn into the river, Brian was killed because the Sweetly slasher comes from the first timeline, where the incident did happen. The character is punished for something a different version of him did, adding to Time Cut's complex exploration of one decision's chain of ripple effects. As opposed to Val's unseen second timeline murder, Time Cut did indeed show her boyfriend's demise. As Brian waited for Val to come out of the dressing room, the lights on Wetslide went out, making him accidentally drop some things on the floor. When he bowed down to pick them up, the Sweetly slasher stood over him and stabbed him in the neck with a broken CD.